Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
All the cars in our family have dash cams installed to be on the safe side, so the new Bronco definitely wasn't going to be left out. I found this camera for a pretty low price on Amazon. I like the lower profile type of cameras like this one that don't hang down and use suction cups. I'll include a link to it in the description below if you're interested in this one. I always try to hardwire the cameras in, as it looks so much cleaner, and sometimes you just don't have an available power source that is only powered when the ignition is switched on. They sell these hardwiring kits on Amazon that makes this process a little bit easier. Again, a link to these kits will be in the description below. First order of business was to track down the location of the fuse panel in the Bronco. I've heard conflicting reports about where it's located based on owner's manual misinformation, but I can verify it's behind the lower panel on the driver's side. There's also one under the hood, but I don't need to access that one for this project. You need to pry this panel open, and it's not super easy. I used a pry tool to help get it started. I've opened it a few times now without issue, but I swear it feels like it's going to break each time, but it doesn't. I think this next step is really the most important part of the whole install process, and that's determining which fuse should be used. Back in the day, you'd just tap into the cigarette lighter fuse and call it a day, but it's not always so clear anymore in newer cars. The fuse taps that come with the hardwiring kit use 5 amp fuses, so ideally you'd want to find a 5 amp fuse that is only on when the ignition is on. At least that's always been my understanding, and I'm definitely no expert. I used my circuit tester to start checking fuses while the ignition was off to rule out any that were hot, as I only want this to be powered when the ignition is on. Hopefully that makes sense. I then went back through the fuses with the tester with the ignition switched on, but the Bronco was not actually running, and then I found it. Fuse number 35 is a 5 amp fuse and is listed as not used in the owner's manual. Usually I thought these not used fuses were spares and wouldn't actually be live, so this was quite the bonus. The power came in through the left prong and out through the right prong, so this was the orientation of the fuse tap that I installed. The rest of this install is what I consider the easy part, or it should be. I next had to pry up part of the side molding to give me room to run the power cord out from under the dash. I also ran the wiring kit's ground wire to the bolt that was conveniently placed to the right of the fuse box. I ran the wiring under the panel edges using one of those plastic panel pry tools to help slightly lift the panel so I could push the wiring under with my fingers. It wasn't until I got near the rearview mirror and had to hook up the camera that I realized I made the same mistake I think I make every time. I ended up with too much wire. In most cars I've been able to get away with tucking up the excess in the headliner, but I couldn't easily in the Bronco. So I just stuck the camera to the windshield and started retucking the wire going back the other way. Anyways, here's what the wiring looked like when I finished. In case you think I forgot, I also neatened up the wires by the fuse box. And that's it. Once you get that fuse box issue figured out, it's pretty much all downhill from there. And the overall verdict for my wife was... If you're going to hardwire your own dash cam into your Bronco, then I hope this video helped you out a little. Well, see you later.